Hey everybody, got another Amazon review request, this time from Auxbeam. They make LED headlight bulbs for cars. And this is their new series, the F-16 series. I had them send the H11 kit for my 2013 Kia Soul. So this is basically it for the box. There isn't basically anything else on the box itself. So let's get into it and see what we got. We got two nice little labels that come with it. Little tiny box, which I assume has the instructions in it. Yep. Something else. Okay, yeah, just basic information. Okay, good. It's got English, Chinese, Russian. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's French. And then the actual bulbs itself. So let's take a look at one of these. This is their new version. It's in gold anodized aluminum heatsink, and it's got enough weight to it. It's definitely going all the way through it. It's got a nice red gasket on it. It goes out to the heatsink, and there actually is a small fan. This is a fanned version built into it. And goes out to the little converter, which says, let's see if I can get the right, there we go. Series F-16, input voltage 12 to 24 volts, and this is for the H11 bulb, or parentheses H8, maybe they're compatible, but if it's their H11, and has my standard connector right on here. So, got two of them, and they are using Cree LEDs, one on each side. So before we go and take it out to the car, let's see what it does on the bench power supply. I'm going to feed it 12 volts. And okay, so I got the bench supply turned on right now. I don't have power going to it yet, but right now I have it set for 14.4 volts, which is average for a car that's currently running. And we'll start at 1 amp, just to make sure I have the wiring correct. And let's turn it on and see what happens. Whoa, okay, I'm glad I covered that. Okay, I can hear the fan on, but I'm only pulling 7 watts right now. Let me kick up the amperage to where it should be. That's 14 watts. That's 21 watts. That's 28 watts. That's 37 watts. Okay, it seems to stabilize itself a little bit better there. Okay, so it's pulling 25.47 watts right now. Let's see what happens when I uncover this. Yeah, woohoo! That is freaking insane bright. Let me see if I can cap it. Ooh, yeah, don't actually touch them. They do get hot. But you can actually hear the fan running. And that is freaking crazy. But I don't really feel the heatsink getting hot, which is a very good thing. I can feel the heat at the top here, right by the LEDs. And it's heat sinking straight on down here, so doing a very good job, actually. Let's let that run for a minute. The fan's actually not that loud. You're definitely not going to hear it, especially once you even have your hood down, let alone inside the cab. So it's not loud. And this doesn't really feel like it's warming up. It's probably a very efficient DC to DC converter. So let's turn that off. Yeah, that is insanely bright, and yeah, this is definitely warm now. But it must be piping the heat straight through here. Now I can feel this heatsink getting a little warm because the fan's off, and the heat's still coming through. So, it's a very efficient heatsink, and it doesn't feel like it got too hot. So I guess the next thing to do is take my car on over to the warehouse. This way I can get nice indoor shots, nice and quiet, and we can project the beams out onto like a garage door, and we can get before and after and see how well these bulbs really work. So now we're in the warehouse, and this is my low beams, because we're only replacing the low beams on my car, and this is what it looks like from the factory. Basically, keep an eye on it. We're leveled just to the bottom third of the number 1 on the door. Now let's turn the camera around. I'll give you also a regular frontal view of what it looks like. And here's what the regular halogen headlights look like from the front of the car. Okay, I found it a lot easier just to take the whole light assembly out of my car. It's a lot easier to work with. So what I'm going to do, we're going to take off the back cover for the low beam headlight. And I have H11B bulbs, which are a little different because when you really twist the heck out of them, wow, God, they're good. That's why I just had it out. There we go. You pull it out, but it actually has these two pins on the side. It's not like a regular bulb, which has pins coming out at the end, and it makes connection with this little black thing inside there. So we need to unscrew that, at least on this car, right there. Let's get that out. I got it. There we go. So that should allow this connector to come loose now. Yes, there we go. Okay, so for my connector, unfortunately, I have a little alignment nub right here that's on the side of my connector. I'm going to have to cut that off. This way, it actually matches up with a regular connector on here. Or rather, break it off. There we go. So now it should mate up quite nicely. Okay, so I had to break off the little alignment nub, which I've conveniently lost now. So the alignment nub is off for the original connector, and I also had to shave down these two little tracks a little bit, and now plugs in there perfectly. So unfortunately for H11B, it is not perfectly plugged in. I don't know. This is the first time I've ever played with H11B. This might just be a Kia thing, or maybe all bulbs are like this. I'm not sure. But it takes a minor amount of modification, and now that's in. I can tuck those wires off to the side here, and also tuck in its little adapter off to the side here. The DC-DC adapter, and it fit. I had plenty of room off to the side. So now we're going to find our three little connectors, or little tabs, line it up with this one, and put it on in. Okay, now it's flat. So now we're going to, there we go, now it's flat. I'm going to turn clockwise, and she's locked in. Put this, tuck in the wires into the back here. Make sure there's plenty of airflow space. Don't have anything around it. And now we should be able to reinstall our cover. So let's put this back in the car and give it a shot with one halogen and now one LED. And here it is with the LED one right over here and the halogen. Talk about a much wider beam. It's not focused at all, whereas like the low beam is more focused right here. It's shining the whole area. It gives you much better coverage. There's no real hot spots. So let's take a look at the front of the car. And now you can definitely tell the night and day between the standard halogen, which is right here, and the new LED right over here. Works beautifully. So let's replace the other one and get some final results. And here it is with both of the LED lights installed. Now, keep one thing in mind. I kept this one just a little bit lower, and the beams did need to be adjusted because beforehand, this top was actually all the way up here. So make sure you adjust your angle on your assembly, on your light assembly, once you install these, so this way it comes back to the factory level and you don't end up blinding people. So let's look at the finished product from the front of the car. And here's the front of the car. Comes out absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's even better than an HID kit I had when I had my Tiburon before I bought this. And they also pull less power than the stock bulbs. Just again, remember to adjust your angle down on your headlights once you install these. This way you don't blind people. You get people flashing you, and yeah, you could cause an accident if you don't adjust them properly. So Auxbeam, thank you very much for sending these in. I do like them. As you saw earlier in the video, I did have to do a minor modification to my connectors so it would work with H11B bulbs versus just H11s. Not a big deal. And I had to adjust my headlights assemblies down so I wouldn't blind other people.